Here to the Public Service and Employee Subcommittee. It's good to have everybody here and good to see everybody again. So, um, again, welcome. Um, well, first thing we're going to do is ask Madam Secretary to take the roll.
Alexander, Dixie,
Thank you. Um, I would like to just to make some introductions today. I want to introduce our committee staff. My assistant, Kim Summers, our attorneys, Matt Mundy and Josh Houston. And then we have research analyst Nathan Witt. Our library and archive staff is Greg Yates. Our clerks are Caitlin Kazart, and our sergeant of arms is Reuben Sanders. And so we appreciate all of your work with us, and we look forward to this committee this year. Do we have any personal orders or recognition from any of our members? Seeing none, we will now take up our regular calendar. Item number one is uh, HJR 689 by Chairman Reedy. We have a motion and a second, and there are no amendments filed. So later, you're recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And of course, I looked when this got placed on the calendar. I said 4:30, and I was like, I wonder if they really like being here 4:30 every week. But so I feel for you, Madam Chair, members. This is an urging resolution that would urge Congress to keep the powers to declare war and for the National Guard to be protected from executive powers. And I will actually read from the resolution. Whereas the General Assembly finds that Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution vests in the United States Congress the exclusive powers of war, and whereas despite the clear language of the United States Constitution vesting power over war exclusively in the United States Congress, the United States executive branch has unconstitutionally assumed this power while the United States Congress had abdicated its constitutional duty. And whereas the United States Congress has not declared war in over 70 years, the nation has gone since war repeatedly at the whim of the executive branch. In other words, that World War II was the last time that they voted to go to war. Whereas when the unconstitutional actions are taken by the federal government, it is the proper role of the states themselves to take action to remedy these situations as outlined in Kentucky and Virginia Resolution of 1798. And whereas the founder of this country, George Washington, once wrote, the Constitution vests the power of declaring war with Congress. Therefore, no offensive expedition of importance can be undertaken until after they shall have deliberated upon the subject and authorized such a measure. And whereas the fathers of the United States Constitution, James Madison, once wrote, the Constitution supposes what the history of government demonstrates, that the executive is the branch of power most interested in war and most prone to it, and accordingly studied care vested in the question of war in the legislature. And whereas the author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, once wrote, we have already given in example one effectual check to the dog of war by transferring the power of letting him loose for the executive to the legislative body. And whereas Thomas Jefferson also wrote, considering that Congress alone is constitutionally invested with the power of changing our condition from peace to war, I have thought it my duty to await their authority for using force in any degree which could be avoided. And whereas another constitutional framer, Alexander Hamilton, once wrote, the Congress shall have the power to declare war, the plain meaning of which is that it is the peculiar and exclusive province of Congress, when the nation is at peace, to change that state into the state of war. And of course, you have the rest of it in front of you there. So I just, I get enlightened every time I come here with history of our nation and not thinking about it. The very many wars that we have been in since World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, I, as a soldier, ended up in Grenada after the war that took place there, but the invasion of Grenada and all of that, and thinking, why would our elected officials, the congressmen and women of the state of Tennessee, we send them to Washington, D.C., and then allow the executive branch to usurp their authority to decide all of this? And that's that's the reason for this resolution, is saying, Washington, D.C., start doing your job per the Constitution, take that right back, and before we go to any more wars, you guys vote on it. We vote for you to go there to represent us. How about showing us what you're all about? Thank you.
Maybe if I turned on the microphone, someone could hear me say that. But thank you for your service to our country.
Honored to serve.
Do we have any questions? Questions been called? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please signify by saying no. The ayes have it, and this bill moves to full committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I want to briefly go over some bills that have been taken off notice. So I'm going to take the time to do that right now. Let me see. We're going to start with item number 2, which is HB 300. That has been taken off notice. Item number 3, House Bill 547 by Representative Harris. That has been taken off notice. Oh, and this bill has been taken up in for the third time in this committee. So this bill will move to the special calendar to be heard on the final calendar. And then item number 4, which is House Bill 1392 by Representative Harris, has been taken off notice, and this bill also will move to special calendar. Item number 5, HB 1023 by Representative Butler, has been taken off notice. Okay, let's see. I think there was one more. Item number 9, which is House Bill 1473 by Representative Camper, has been taken off notice, and this is the third time that this bill has been taken up in this committee, and this bill will move to the special calendar to be heard on the final calendar. Now that brings us back to item number 6, which is House Bill 1170 by Representative Hakeem. Do we have a motion and a second? We do, and there are no amendments filed. So, Representative, you are recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Does is to require the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, POST, to adopt guidelines and materials instructing law enforcement officers on the best practices for recognizing and responding to a medical crisis involving a person under arrest or under the care or supervision of the law enforcement officer. This does not specify that the guidelines and materials, well, essentially must not require officers to undergo special medical training for the purpose of becoming post-certified. Basically, we're saying that there's the materials that are provided that would be shared with officers, the verbal training and making those materials available to the officers. And we're saying that it will not count for or against their ability to receive post certification. And the expenditures are considered negligible, estimated to be insignificant. And I guess the only example that I'd like to give is that in 2019 in Texarkana, Texas, a young man was being arrested by officers, and it was a I considered minor. I think it was shoplifting or something like that. And they put him in the back of a police car. And he was saying to them, "I can't breathe." And they didn't have any training to recognize or suspect that he may be having some kind of medical crisis. Well, he fainted and died in the back of that vehicle. And so what we're saying is basically allowing officers to get this training that will not count against them if, as far as their ability to get post-certification, to limit as best we can persons having medical crisis and it not being recognized, as opposed to putting them in jail. We try to put them in that environment to receive medical services. And Madam Chairperson, that's the essence of the bill.
You've heard the explanation. Do we have any questions from our members? Chairman Keesling?
Thank you, Lady Chair. Representative Keem, I see where the this action over on the Senate side has been deferred. Can you give me? Have they met yet? It's supposed to come the first calendar of this year. So have they met yet
Not to my knowledge.
on this one?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, in both House and Senate, it was deferred until now.
Yeah. Okay.
to
But
my
but
knowledge,
my
it has.
question is, what's the status? Do we have any current status over there on the Senate side
no,
on this?
no
one?
status has been shared.
Okay. Thank you, Lady Chair.
Any further questions? So we're ready to vote. All in favors, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, please signify by saying no. The ayes prevail, and this bill will move on to full committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman and members.
If anyone wants to be recorded as a no, please see the clerk. I think we've had a thorough discussion about the next bills that are coming up. Our representatives are not in the room, and so we have decided that on item number 7, which is House Bill 1462 by Representative Towns, will be taken off notice. And then item number 8, which is House Bill 1463, also by Representative Towns, that will also be taken off notice. That brings us to item number 10. And item number 10, which is House Bill 1521 by Representative Hardaway. This is the third time that this bill has been taken up in this committee, and this bill will be moved to the special calendar to be heard with the final calendar. That brings us to, where's 11? On the next page. Okay. And then item number 11, which is House Bill 1523 by Representative Hardaway. This is the third time that this bill has been taken up in this committee, and this bill is moved to the special calendar to be heard on the final calendar. That completes our business for today. Do I have a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.